yes. Okay, all right. So thanks. Is Herman coming up today?
I'm not sure, because it's a public holiday today.
Oh, really? Okay,
It's like,
okay, all
I think
right.
it's Women's Day today in South
Oh, Women's
Africa.
Day, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Oh, okay. Okay.
probably the family involved.
August 9th, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So I'm not. Let me just confirm that because it's possible. It was also the weekend.
Oh, okay, okay,
But I'll just confirm that. Yeah, it's Monday.
okay.
It's today, National
Right.
Women's Day. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So maybe we can start then. All right. So
Yeah.
Wen Hao, he mentioned about he might need to change how a bit because
Okay.
he actually has been having some health issue
Oh,
regarding
geez.
allergy. Okay, and
That's bad.
yeah, and he liked to basically limit a bit about his development work. Okay.
Okay.
And right,
Okay.
so I will need to talk with him about like what the plan could be like from now on. And okay, so but he, I mean, it's possible that he might need to pause from the current development work. Okay, for a while.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So that's this is something I also learned. I think just near the weekend. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So, but I am thinking about to find someone else. And again, so
Okay.
no, if I can see another volunteer who might be interested in this work to help, because
Okay.
this is something I think definitely we need developers that would help in the effort. Yeah. But
Okay.
let you know. Okay.
All right. I
So
think I can also be on the lookout as well. As
okay.
regards like getting to like I'm trying to
Okay.
think now for who is best, but I will think of something as well. I'll try to look
Okay.
for
All
someone
right.
that can.
So let's start with the, I guess, with the games. All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask the exact
Oh,
same thing.
okay. All right. So you like to start sharing about the games from this maybe this last
From
week or last weekend?
um yeah, I think the one of the key games was I think the Vorocast might have finally clicked, but I think
Ah,
it's just in theory until it's sort of on paper. But I think I sort
okay.
of I don't know why it took so long, but
You finally got
makes
it.
sense. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Finally
Okay.
got it. That was a nice
Okay.
game. I was able to relax over the weekend. I think I
Okay.
was getting a bit burnt out again. I don't really know why, but
Okay.
I think last week was quite intense from a day-to-day perspective because it
Okay.
was like sleep, eat, wake, work, then sleep, then work,
Okay.
then wake up.
Pretty intensive.
It was quite intensive, yeah.
Okay.
I
All
was
right.
able to take a little bit of a break. I'm trying to
Okay.
get back into it slowly this morning.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, I
Nice.
think those were key gains.
Mhm,
For this week, I guess it's work continues, and
mhm,
I'll try to see what I can do, especially from both literature and also like
mhm.
the coding side of
Okay.
things.
Okay. Nice. Okay. All right.
See
Okay.
how much we can get done
Mhm.
this week.
Okay. Nice. Great. All right. So maybe I'll share a bit of my win as well. Okay. So
Yeah.
I think the biggest win that came from the let me share. Well, on the personal level, I did play badminton with my kids this recently, and I try to be fully present and pay attention and focus while playing with them, and by basically having a silent game, so nobody talks, and we just hear the sounds of the ball hitting the bat, and that was I guess a revealing moment that yes, it's possible for one to become really focused at the moment of what you're doing, sort of being in a flow state. And I think at that time, some of the things that's kind of pending at work also got clear up. So it was really a nice win from both
Interesting.
yeah, but it was actually during the badminton moment that I, sort of realized something that helped me solve one of the work problem challenge. Yeah. So that's one thing. But I guess the point is to being fully present and focused at the moment. That puts the mind in, I think, a different kind of a flow state, okay, which is conducted. And the other thing, I think, maybe if more vast related, is the sort of I have been doing some of the, basically, Ben Sullivan's question with some of our teammates as well. And what came out from that was a sort of a realization that, I do still want to do virtual worlds for the long term. Okay.
Okay.
And I mean, right now, what I'm doing now, although it's not directly, related to my core efforts now, but this is something that is still in alignment with my long-term goal or vision of building metaverse, building this virtual worlds with billions of people participating. So although it's a small step, to be sure, I am not spending all that much time on this, but I can see that this is in alignment with what I ultimately want to do. Okay, let's say for a 10-year vision, it's or a 10-year goal. I really like to see some virtual world that can be supportive of 1 million people concurrently. Okay, that is kind of interacting in spatial environments. So I'm really looking forward to build that, and be part of that, which I believe will perhaps be kind of like the next generation communication medium, because I think virtual reality is going to, more or less become popular in time. And it's not going to just be limited to like a single or like a few dozen people experience, right? It's likely the real impact is when it's become massively, just like when online games, the massively multiple online games, where, millions of people are online concurrently. I think that's the kind of interaction. Yeah. All right, so let's see. We have Herman. All right. Okay.
Morning, sir.
Join us. Okay. All right. So just in time. All right.
Just in time, yes.
Okay.
Sorry,
so,
I had to.
Hi. We were just sharing
Hi.
our wins for the past weekend. Okay. You like to share a quick win or two? This past
It was
weekend?
a quiet weekend, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you took
No
time to
drama.
relax.
No one died. That's good
Yeah.
news.
Oh,
That's
okay. Okay. That's good. Yeah. All right. So Victory, maybe you'd like to start with the sync. Oh yeah, and just to let Herman know, Wenhao is taking an absent because he's having some health issues with allergy. So he'd like to cut down the time he spent on doing programming work. Okay. So I think I'll have to talk with them again. But essentially, he might need to take in a lead from the project for the time being. Okay. I'll also let you know that. But I am already thinking about trying to find other people who might be involved. Okay.
Cool.
To still fill that role of doing a prototype application.
Cool.
Okay. All right. So that's an update. All right. So Victory, maybe you can start first. You can.
Okay.
You can start. Yeah.
Okay. Just hold on. Let me share my screen. Share screen one. Yes. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the last time we spoke, I think from my part was the forwarding to refine. Well, I don't know if you want to talk about the MQTT part first, Professor Herman.
Yeah, I'm still, yeah, sorry, I was busy with some other admin, so I still haven't looked into
Oh.
that further, but hopefully this week I'll get to it.
All right, that's fine. So from my side, so I tried to paint okay, I want to call it a picture, but just for that. So again, it looks quite simple until you try to like build it on in code or in development. But I think the general idea is simple. Get neighbor list and neighbor sub, basically get the neighbors and their children. The source is supposed to do that. And in theory, this is already like, this is just a simple command. It's already, when I say command, the system already has an update of this in real time. In theory, for every move, each node knows who its neighbors are and knows who the children of the neighbors are, right? And then the idea is when you get this list, I want to basically, I don't know what the structure is, so I just put this, but I'm guessing it's a set of multiple nodes with their addresses and their area of interest. Then you want to subtract the coordinates. I'm not really sure if subtract is the word, but the idea is I want to know what my maybe I should say compare with source. Maybe sorry, so I'm talking about it's making more sense. So basically I want to compare the coordinates of my source node to identify first who the closest neighbor is from this list that was received. And then I also want to understand, who the closest sub neighbor is. So it's like I'm saying from the source, I want to know who's my shortest, and from the child, I also I want to know who the shortest from the sub node is. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense, but in theory, the idea is okay, I don't know if I'm spelling this right. The theory, the mindset around that is to sort of say, you know what, I want to know, for example, S. I want to know. Let me see if there's okay. Let's say from S, I want to know who C5 is and who is closest to C5. So when I forward my request, I'm only forwarding to you and to you, right? So the C5 and to green. And then on this C5, when I receive that request, I'm receiving the request and the blacklist, right? So the idea is, okay, when I receive that request, I want to know who is blacklisted in terms of who are the people that are children to the source. And then I want to decide, okay, now that there's no blacklist, I want to check who are my other neighbors. In theory, this green should also sort of be in a blacklist now that I think about it, because I also don't want to forward that request again to this green neighbor. So I'm saying, okay, who send forward to C5 because C5 is the closest. And when I forward this request, remember there's a section where I added the blacklist, right? So in this blacklist is a list of all the neighbor IDs that, well, you shouldn't send to or don't need to get the message rather. And then from that blacklist, I know, okay, I shouldn't send from C1 to C6. And C5, I'm saying, okay, now that I know these people, I want to check again who are potential neighbors. And in this case, I think green is technically a neighbor of C5 that may not have received from C6. So I'm saying, okay, in that case, you have already sent, the message has already been forwarded to you. Now C5 is going to forward the exact same message to this green bar, or sorry, node, because I'm saying now that, you know what, I've received this request. I can send to the blacklist, but I can send to you because you have not received any request yet. Now it will basically repeat the same process that the source node repeated, which was, you know what, find out who what do you call it, who has been blacklisted from C6, for example, right? who is my shortest neighbor from here, between, C11 or maybe C21 now is probably somewhere here, or C22 and all that. So for example, there, and then basically repeat the same process, which is identify who your neighbors are, create a blacklist based on identify who the shortest is, and then add the other neighbors or add the other nodes to a blacklist, a sort of a blacklist, which is more or less like a dictionary of some sort, and then forward the response to the neighbor and the sub neighbor at the same time.
So,
That's more or
so
less.
this is just this is for the area publication. You can go back to that picture quickly.
Yes. So I'm
Okay.
publishing to this area.
Okay, so the source will start by sending it to all its neighbors. Okay.
Yes.
So your blacklist is all the neighbors of S to start off with.
Let me say the first thing is I want to. Oh yes, in theory there should be a blacklist, but because the source is, the idea is if this is the first run, if this is the first run and that blacklist is empty, for example, I want to get a list of my neighbors first. I want to identify who the shortest is. Who is my shortest neighbor?
It doesn't have to, it doesn't worry, the source doesn't worry about the shortest neighbor. The source will just send to all of its neighbors, it will send the message, okay? And as you said, it can also send the blacklist, which would be the all the children of S, all the neighbors of S, in other words, okay?
Yeah.
Then C5 will get that message as well as that blacklist that you spoke about. Then it needs to ask, it will basically create a list of forwarding nodes to which it must forward the message. And basically the way it will so it will go and check each of its neighbors. So C5 will start with the source, and it will say, okay, I mustn't forward to the source because I got the message from the source. It will check C6, and then it will say, okay, but wait, C6 is on the blacklist that I received from S, so I mustn't forward to C6. It will check C4. It will see C4 is on the blacklist of, so I don't need to forward it to C4. And then it will basically check these two green nodes, the one to the left of C6 and the one below C5. And because those are the only other, well, those are the two other neighbors it have, except for this one which doesn't have a name here in the bottom, right? And then if C5 is closer to the source than the two green neighbors, if that answer is yes, then it will forward it to that node. If it's not, if that green neighbor for some reason was closer to the source than C5, then it would not have forwarded it to that green neighbor of it. And then the last one here, that red dot at the bottom, just above sequence backup.
Yeah.
That one, then the other one at the bottom.
Oh, there.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it will also forward it to that. I'm assuming because it's
outside of AOI.
Outside
it's
the
outside of
radius.
AOI.
Okay, great. So it won't forward it to that.
So you want,
but
yeah.
So the source doesn't check which of its neighbors are closest. The node needs to decide whom do I need to forward it to, and it doesn't forward it to a node if the node is on the blacklist, as you call it, which is a child of S, and it also doesn't forward it to any of its neighbors if the neighbor is closer to the source than the node itself. Does that make sense? Because the source won't do any calculation with any of the green nodes because it's not even aware of the green nodes actually, or it might not be aware of the green nodes.
Okay. So actually, I'm sort of seeing I see what you mean that with regards to if the neighbor is closest. If the neighbor is closer to the source, or let me just say if the other child is closer to the source, than C5. And if it's a no, then basically forward. And if it's a yes, don't forward, right?
Yes, yeah.
Why is that?
Well,
If you don't
because
mind.
if a node is closer to the source than C5, then it
Yeah.
means that someone else would have forwarded that message already to that node. So so it doesn't have to so if it also forwards that message to it, then it's going to get a duplicate message. If you want to think about it like that.
Okay. So I'm trying to sort of picture the situation where, for example, okay, wait, is this distance, or should I say, in terms of checking if I'm closer to S or not, is this distance determined by the partition or by the precise like XY location or coordinate?
Location. It has nothing to do with the
Location.
partition.
But
Yeah.
okay. So there's no scenario where this is closer to the source. Okay, I don't know if there is, but where this
There's
grid
no scenario. You're correct.
There's no
Yeah.
scenario.
No scenario.
So
And
for
the
instance,
reason,
yeah.
oh, sorry,
Simeon?
go ahead.
No, please.
Oh, I was going to say that this is related to Voronoi partitioning properties. Okay. Because actually how Voronoi has been determined is that it's the middle line that separates any two nodes. Okay, or as they call it, sites. So because of that, your guarantee, you can think of it this way, like all the points within a region, you know, the closest site to those points are the sites, I mean, the region's site, okay, which is the node. All the points within a region, you know, the closest node they can find is the node that controls that region. You see?
makes sense. Makes sense, yeah.
So essentially, if you can find another node that is closer to the source, then by definition, you know, they should be getting a forwarded message from someone else, because there has to exist another path that can connect to all the way to the source that's closer than you. Okay, this is by definition.
All right. So I mean, it means for every request, no matter how large the the number of nodes are, for every forwarded request, each node sort of has that for when the request is received, there has to be the information about the source.
Yes.
Yes. That's a required information. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd like to add that there's also no need to forward the blacklist.
Okay.
Okay, the blacklist actually doesn't have to be communicated at all, because the blacklist, as you said, it actually can be sort of referred. I mean, sort of been determined. Okay, simply by you can make, okay, whoever node that sends you the request, you can make all the nodes that's enclosing neighbor to that node into the blacklist. You see?
Okay.
Because if a node is the enclosing neighbor to the node that sends you the request, then that node probably has direct access to it. You don't have to forward it to. Okay.
Okay.
You see? So the blacklist can be automatically determined very locally based on local knowledge and local information. You see, you don't have to get it from someone else.
So I'm just trying to paint the picture here. So say there's an S and I send a request to say C3.
Yes.
So in theory, C3 already has an idea of all of this. C1,
No. C3 has an idea of C2 and C4.
C4, yes.
And C3 can determine very simply that C2 and C4 are the enclosing neighbors of S. and therefore
Oh,
they should belong
okay.
to the blacklist.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So okay.
So
Okay. So basically,
C3 only has to deal with the green, the C22 and the green to the right.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
He only has
So
to check those two sites. Who knows?
okay. So it doesn't necessarily basically doesn't need to know about C1, C6, C5. It already has this
No.
information for C2. Okay,
Right, you see?
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay. Okay, so I guess that's I guess any other feedbacks from Herman?
No, I think that's it. Yeah. So I would actually encourage you to, if you have this, to basically draw it out on a piece of paper, basically, and say, okay, let's pretend your node is, and forward it, and basically run the algorithm that you write down, and just run it through on the as you're doing over here, to make certain that it's working correctly. Or I think that'll help you understand it as well.
All right. I think I can look into like spanning trees as well, right?
You can, though.
Yeah, just to. Okay. All right. No, all right. Thanks for that.
Okay, so you'd like to basically, I guess, set up for the task today, and also, is there any update from Alida?
Not yet. She was going to get back to me on about the time on Wednesday last week, but nothing. And I've not received an email. Maybe I should try again today because I think it's a public holiday. Maybe she's
I'm
available.
speaking to her. I'm speaking to her this afternoon at 5. When I spoke to her, it sounded to me like she was waiting for a response from you, but yeah, I mean, so what I spoke to her was that she is happy to continue with the project, and that we just need to clarify nicely what exactly her role is, and what exactly will be her responsibility and that. So I'm going to ask her this afternoon so that she can join the Wednesday and Thursday stand-ups as well, because I also think that will help in onboarding her, if I can put it like that.
Okay.
Right, that would probably help a lot to have the same.
Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, she seemed, when I spoke to her, she seemed quite happy with working on the back end. That sounded, and I think I explained the overlap between this application and the application she will be doing for her masters. So, and that the back end will be necessary for both. So it sounded to me at least like she's like, oh yeah, no, this is actually, there is some benefit for her. And she does want to finish by the end of next year. And this is a necessary component of that. So, but yeah, I'll ask her to join on Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay, nice. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
those are good news. All right.
Okay, I'm just gonna add that to.
So I think I will talk with Wen Pao about possibly finishing up the current I guess a version that could at least do chats. Okay. Yeah, and he may not be able to continue from there, but I think having a certain version that kind of work. And I will also be looking for additional developers. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Sorry. Which one do you prefer? SH or SHY?
Oh, SY is fine.
SY is okay.
Yes.
So that's to with Wen Hao.
Mm-hmm.
want to. How many developers?
Well, I am going to basically send a request and see who might be interested to respond. There's something called the impact filter, which I will also send it to share on the channel. Okay. It's from Dan
Okay, cool.
Sullivan to look for potential collaborators. Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I think it's a great tool that Herman might also be interested because
Cool.
it actually will clearly lay out like what's involved, what's required. And once that's cleared, then potential people will immediately identify. Okay, so this can also make the matchmaking and finding faster. This is actually how Ben volunteered himself to write the book for Dan Sullivan, and he asked him to fill out an impact filter.
Okay, that's cool.
So, all right, I'll share that with you guys. Okay.
Okay, cool.
That was very helpful,
Okay.
actually. Okay. So just to.
All right. So.
I think you're breaking up, Shinyan.
Sorry. Okay. So if that's the case, then we will sync tomorrow. Sorry. I was saying that maybe we'll sync tomorrow then. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
If that's the.
Thanks
okay,
so much.
All right. So, yeah. Talk to you guys next tomorrow. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
will do.
Okay. All right.
Cheers.
Take care. Yeah. All
Cheers.
right.
Bye.
Bye.